We all want
GVL, your response to that.
You cannot whip a person into democracy.
Yeah, GVL, your response to that. It's going to amount to the same thing if 60% people come out there and press nota.
No, I think he is assuming that those additional people who would come and vote would by choice select nota. I think I'm puzzled about that argument. You see, you've seen in the recent elections,
GVL,
although
sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. GVL, sorry to interrupt. Also the fact, sir. Also the fact,
did not come to vote at all.
No. Also the fact, sir. No, sir. Arima Sundaram, there is a difference when the person
comes. That's a completely wrong.
GVL, just interrupting because the fact is when the person comes and says none of the above, he does not come and say that I don't want to vote. What he comes out and says is I don't want to vote for any of the candidates above. He is coming there making an informed decision saying I don't want to vote for these candidates because I don't believe they are worthy of representing me or representing my constituency. The fact is the same person who sits the same person when he sits at home and does not exercise that right, he does not even let the world know that there is a problem with these candidates. That is the fundamental difference, sir. It's not one and the same thing.
He would have come to the polling booth.
It's not one and the same thing.
If he wanted to vote for somebody,
absolutely,
he would have come to the polling
completely.
booth. Very fact, he hasn't come to the polling booth. He has nobody there that he wants to vote for.
Yes, GVL.
No, I disagree completely. I think 60% of the people who did not come to vote, if you are assuming they did not come because they do not want to choose any of the given names, I completely think that's a wrong analysis because
I'm not
as
making
a pollster,
assumptions, sir.
I think let me inform. No, David. You see, let me tell you. Please let me give you this bit of information. As a pollster, when we do surveys, we draw a sample of all those who are eligible to vote, and in this sample, those who are not making a choice of any of the options available is very limited. It's not even generally, it doesn't exceed 10 to 15%. But in real elections, you don't see more than 50-60% people voting. So I think my understanding based on the surveys that we do is even those who are not coming to vote, they have a choice to make, but then they don't speak, they don't express that choice in the elections. So let us not assume those who are not coming to vote have no interest in any of the candidates or any of the parties.
It has to be said that what you're saying and by that logic that you're going, it is an assumption because you are assuming that those people who are not voting, who are not turning out would press nota if they go. That is an assumption and we'll grant Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao that much. But my question to you, Mr. Rao,
no, madam,
is that what about, we'll come back to you on that. We'll come back to you on that, Mr.
Equally,
Sundaram.
it's an assumption.
No, I just
Sorry, it's an assumption the other way around also.
No, I'm saying this based on empirical evidence.
GVL Narasimha Rao, the basic question here.
My point is,
the
in a
basic
democracy,
question,
you
Mr. Rao.
don't force a person to do something.
Yes, Mr. Rao, the question here, the basic fundamental question here is that you are by this law essentially forcing people to go out there because there is a fear. There is a fear that if they don't, they are going to be punished. Now, we don't know what that punishment is going to be, of course, yet. Yes. But it is a fear out of which people will go out and vote. Do you really think that that is in tandem with the spirit of democracy?
That question is meant for me?
That's right, it is meant for you.
Yeah, I think very much so. Because we are looking at this as a kind of civic responsibility and the kind of penalties, if at all, whatever penalties need to be imposed, that's not a part of the law. This will be a part of the election rules that will be framed by the State Election Commission in consultation with the government of Gujarat. No. What kind of penalties do we impose? I think it's something that can evolve over time, but it can be done in a process involving all political parties. There can be an all-party meeting conducted by a State Election Commission.
It's not about parties at all.
And eventually, once it's agreed upon.
It doesn't matter. It's not about parties here. It's about people.
No. Political parties do represent people. Please
That's right,
grant
but
this kind of. I
no,
think this
but you're
has to
saying
be.
political parties will come together and decide what punishment. I'm asking you about the crux here. The crux that there is going to be a punishment, however small. I'm not assuming that you're going to throw people in jail. However
Nobody will
small,
be jailed. I think let's not create this kind of false impression that people will be jailed if they don't go out and vote.
We're saying we're not saying that.
It is a very ill-informed comment.
We're not saying that. But however small the penalty, the fact is that the whole premise is a penalty, that if you don't vote, there's going to be a penalty.
Come on, I think there are a lot of systems in vogue in different countries. I think it can be even that if you don't vote consecutively in 3 elections, I think your legal right can be taken away.
Oh my God.
I think maybe you can
God.
be disenfranchised. Or you can, this is possible. I'm proposing
this
this
is
as one. Somebody
absolute
doesn't use his vote for 10 years.
We're going to wind up.
I'm proposing it. You can
You are proposing something that's anti-democratic.
Okay,
I'm
now,
sorry.
now there is this entire thing about civic consciousness, basic
come on. So
consciousness
this
and
can be discussed.
responsibility,
I'm
and the other
suggesting-
point of impinging on democratic rights. Jivyal Narasimha Rao, about to wind up,
But there has to
but the
be-
final
there has to
question
be
to
some
Ami
kind of a
Yagnik,
penalty.
How will this
it's a
be
little bit of a
implemented?
surprise that the Gujarat Congress, and especially you today, sit here and oppose this entire move, because I have read this very clearly, that the Congress cribbed in the state of Gujarat that the voter turnout was poor, and that is why the mandate was lopsided. And today, if they are making it compulsory in local civic body elections, then the Congress in the state should be happy, because then it proves your counter that if everybody comes out to vote, the Congress should have a resurrection in Gujarat. So I don't know why you are saying no today.
Again, you are confusing the issues. Voter turnout can be increased if you have campaigns for awareness, but you cannot go against the basic tenets of the Constitution. Indian Constitution gives freedoms to the citizen.
Don't you want more
and a
people to
free
come out and
citizen.
vote?
You
Don't
are
you want
dragging
more
the citizen out of his home to the booth and making him exercise his right against his will, because there is a legal action contemplated by this act.
Okay.
So you are making him exercise that right. That compulsion does not go with democratic principles enshrined in the Constitution, and very against the basic tenets of the Constitution.
Right.
So that
Final
free
word.
expression of speech, free and fair elections, and a free citizen of democratic India and the Constitution of India has to go hand in hand. You cannot have a compulsion
irrespective
in
of what the
democracy.
cause or effect. Yes,
Whereas we all respect and recognize that there are very desirable things, one of the fundamentals of a democracy is the right to dissent. To say, I don't agree with you. Here, the right to dissent is being taken away. And therefore, it'd be an extremely dangerous proposition to follow.
It's not really dissent.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go for an election.
How is it, Shailesh Gandhi, the right to dissent would be, if you have only 30% voter turnout, then there should be a rule in the Constitution. Election Commission should decide, no, these polls are void, null and void, because unless there is a 50% turnout or a majority turnout for voters, you cannot choose that government as elected.
And we did not
then
even
that right to
address-
dissent falls flat.
And we did not
The
even
right to dissent falls flat.
We have not even
This is not
addressed
the
the
way you
issue of
bring an
how this
act.
should be implemented.
You have to
It's
go
an
for reform.
unimplementable law.
Well, it depends on what really the penalty is going to be. But if
no
you're talking
respect for
about
whatever you
20
say.
crores, yes, that's a fact. But just to conclude here now, the fact is that there are democracies across the world that make it mandatory for their citizens to vote. Yes, it's only 32 nations out of 170
Only 10 implement.
electoral democracies, but in some of them it actually works. Australia is one example, so it remains to be seen. And as we've been saying through the evening, it is the question is if it's going to stand up to the scrutiny of the courts.
Yeah, and Tina, I think the larger message to the people who are watching this broadcast is, if you get out and vote, then they will not make it compulsory.
That's right.
So just go and do it voluntarily, so then you don't have to have a rule which impinges on your democratic rights, as a lot of the panelists claim. Civic responsibility, consciousness versus democratic rights being infringed. So that's where the debate lies. Ami Yagnik and all the other gentlemen joining us on the debate number 2 here on the Newshour. Thanks.